Hi, YouTube.
They're still playing. All right, getting ready. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2. All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Horror Syndicate Live tonight. Tonight we have our alien discussion. I know here at the Horror Syndicate we are so excited to bring some alien goodness to you guys on this beautiful Wednesday evening. I know we've been out for a couple weeks, but we are back. We are hard. Everyone is hard right now to talk about Alien. And we're going to give it to you, and you can join us at the bottom. You can comment right below the video and join in during our discussion as well. So let's get into it. This is the Horror Syndicate Live. My name is Brian Enright. You can follow me on Facebook at Brian Enright. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at The Horror Jew. Up next, we have Baron Craze. Baron, good evening.
Evening all, and greetings to everyone else. You can follow me and stalk me on Twitter at Baron_Craze. Also follow me on Facebook under Baron Craze, and of course Baron's Crypt. Oh, and big thanks to everybody for all the birthday wishes and other sick things you guys sent to me. So I really appreciate it all. Back to you, Brian.
All right, thank you very much, Baron, as always. Up next, we have Jared Letourneau. Jared, good evening.
Good evening, Brian, and the rest of the Horror Syndicate. It's been a while. Kind of nice to see your beautiful faces again. Hopefully you guys missed mine. I don't know. But anyways, you guys can follow me on Facebook at Jared Letourneau or follow me on the Twitterverse at zombie_survivor.
All right, thank you very much, Jared. Up next, we have the one and only Morgan. Morgan, good evening.
Hello, and you can follow me on Twitter at Morgan_Jewel_S.
All right, thank you very much, Morgan. Here he is, Sci-Fi Zone, Uncle Rayzilla. Uncle Rayzilla, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. Good evening, kids. It's great to be back. Yes, it's your old Uncle Rayzilla coming to you on fleek from his secret lair, located somewhere off exit 18E on the New Jersey Turnpike. If you dare to follow me on Twitter, because let's face it, kids, that's where the party's at, you can follow me at RayzillaNJ. And if you want to check out my stupid Facebook page, where I currently have pictures of goats and things like that, you can follow me at Ray Canella. Great to see everybody after our hiatus. It's wonderful to be back. We got a hot show and a hot topic tonight. So back to you, Brian.
Thank you very much. You're hot, Ray. You're hot topic. You're my hot topic. And last but not least...
don't flirt with me, cowboy.
Last but not least, we have the hottest topic of all, our president and Fuhrer, Razor. Ray, good evening.
Hello, everyone. I'm not a hot topic. I'm just a hot body. You can follow me on Twitter at Razor_33 or Rage of Razor on Facebook. You do not, I repeat, do not come to my personal page.
All right.
I don't know why I just felt like saying that. That doesn't matter.
All right. Thank you very much, Ray. So before we get into a little talk, our main topic tonight, Alien, we're going to get into a couple of our little segments. First one brought to you by Jared Letourneau. He's got Bloody Streaming Roulette. Jared, talk about what you have.
Well, during our hiatus, I was still able to do Bloody Streaming Roulette. Last week, I had a winner. It was a foreign film. I'm totally flaking on what it was, though. Anybody want to help me out? Did you guys read the article?
I did, but I don't remember what it is.
It was actually a film from Spain. It was called The Last Days.
There we go.
And it was a weird epidemic film, and I don't think it really was a horror film, but it was in the horror section under Netflix. It was a winner. It was a good flick if you like style films. Do have another one for you guys this week. It is a Japanese film directed by Sion Sono. And if you guys are familiar with that guy, in 2001 he brought us Suicide Club, and in 2005 he did Suicide Club 2. dinner table. But this one he brings us is from 2015, and it's called Tag. The synopsis of the film is a girl's life cascades into chaos as everyone around her suffers a gruesome fate, while she herself becomes less and less certain of who she is and what kind of world she lives in. I'm definitely looking
Jesus
forward to this
Christ.
because his previous films are gory as shit. If you guys have seen Suicide
really?
Club, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm really looking forward to it, and it's on Netflix. If you guys want to see my verdict, check out the website this weekend.
Suicide
Back
Club.
to you,
Isn't that the movie with
Brian.
Harley Quinn?
Yeah, not to confuse that piece of trash movie. Jesus Christ. Fucking.
Nope.
I want to get
Just
2
stop.
hours of my fucking life back with that goddamn movie. All right, so thank you very much, Jared. As always, Bloody Streaming Roulette reviews. You can catch these movies on Netflix, Amazon, Shudder, all the above. So these are what's streaming right now. Baron has next for you what he describes as bottom of the barrel. He goes undercover and he finds the worst of the worst fucking movies out there, and we all love it very much. Baron's got his DOA reviews. Baron, let's talk about what do you have for us tonight?
Oh, fuck. Oh, jeez. I don't even know what I really watched, folks. The film's called 90210 Shark Attack, a 2014 abomination. Yes, that's right, Rizzo. You already got part of the film figured out. Lord, it is shit. It's a film that's in a cesspool of shit. We are talking horse dung of massive proportions here. We've got the runs for this movie. This is a film that takes place about 3 miles from the ocean. Has nothing to do with sharks, by the way. You see, it's all about a haunted tooth. A haunted shark tooth made off of a cheap little, necklace that you could buy for $3 fucking. I actually have a picture of the necklace that you can buy for $3 fucking that they actually used in the $1 million movie that they made. That's right, it cost $1 million. And they tell you where this film was played multiple times. Beverly Hills and Rodeo Drive. They tell you at least 30 times in the movie, so you never forget the location. Because, in real estate, location. Yes, where's the nearest exit? Because you want to get away from this fucking film. You don't need to be near it at any time. No need. It's a 10-minute intro, a 10-minute outro. You got the shark being morphed in from some girl's head. I mean, you just look at it and you go, what the fuck am I watching here? We get to watch people enter into this house 3 separate times, and it always looks the same. You have insanity running amok. But wait a minute. We have some really, really nice things for you. We have Donna Wilkes in the movie. You may remember her. She's from Jaws 2. She likes sharks so much she went back and did this shit. I mean, look, Jaws had an electrifying explosion. This movie has nothing in it. You have people being killed in the same spot, the same style, the same everything. But hey, don't worry. You don't see any of the blood, so don't worry. You don't have to worry. But we do get to see a fountain by the house 3 times from one direction and 1 time from another one, just in case we didn't know how fucking water came out of a fucking fountain. We just didn't understand that. The entire movie is completely fucked up. It doesn't tell you anything. Nothing makes any sense. But if you want to, you could buy it for $10 fucking. It's still available. It's a movie that's got a 1.9. My rating 1.5. Why? Because I had a set for the goddamn thing. It lose my goddamn shit over the fucking movie. I make it all the way through the goddamn goddamn movie. And what am I doing this week for you? Oh, I'm either going to watch the Bird Academic first one, or I'm going to watch a movie called Dracula Reborn, because let's face it, Dracula Reborn is a great movie. It came out in 2015, not to be confused with the one that came out in 2012, which has got higher ratings than the shit that I'm going to watch this weekend. So that's the end of this little episode of me losing my shit and just going completely nuts for the benefit of all of you out there. Well, back to you, Brian.
All right, thank you very much.
Wait a minute, I got to follow up. on this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wait a minute. They're claiming the budget was $1 million.
Yes.
Well, back to you, Brian. All right, thank you very
They claim, and it's not. You're saying that it's not on the screen. The $1 million.
There's no way, unless they rented the house for the $1 million. Because the house.
Well, it could be like.
And who's the one name? Who's the one name in the movie? Who's the one name in the
Johnny
movie?
Depp.
Donna Wilkes, who was in Jaws 2. That's your name.
And who was the company? Who was the company that made it? Do you know?
Rapid Heart.
Rapid Heart. Oh God! A couple of producers walked away with some money, or the reason they kept mentioning the name of the town is because the Chamber of Commerce put money into the movie.
Well, they named the
The
name
local
of the
Chamber of
town.
Commerce
They
put
did
money
this.
into the movie. They put money into the
Sneaky,
budget so they could
sneaky.
shoot there. And then so you keep mentioning the town and mentioning the
The
town and
sharks are
mentioning
all
the town.
shown in aquariums, so that's really good for you. And the director is David DiCatto.
Oh, I know him. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so everybody
Yeah.
now knows who I'm talking about. There we go.
He did a lot of full moon stuff, and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
know
yeah.
him well.
He's doing full shit right now.
Never mind. Message received.
Okay.
All right, well,
take it away.
$1 million.
Thank you very much, Baron. I always love hearing about your DOA reviews. So now that we're into it, we're going to talk about it. We got Alien. Alien Covenant just released this week. It has a whole slew of mixed reviews out. People hated it. People loved it. I loved it. I thought it was a great addition to the Alien family. But then again, I'm the kind of guy who was actually like, I didn't mind the Alien versus Predator movies. But we'll talk about all of that tonight. So yeah, let's get into it. Alien came out in 1979 in no chronological order. We're going to talk about all the Alien movies, our favorite parts, our worst parts. You watching the show right now, you can participate and you can comment, and we'll read your comments out loud because that's what we do here at the Horror Syndicate. No shyness here. So let's get into it.
Yes, we read out loud, basically. No matter where we are, we're reading out loud.
The cool thing about the very first Alien, I'm sure all of you have seen the very first Alien movie. At least I fucking hope so. But people were actually protesting the movie, as always. Whenever it's a movie that doesn't meet everyone else's standards, people were destroying the sets and inside the. I think there was like a movie theater in California when it first premiered, and people were protesting like religious like groups and everything. And it's the shit hasn't stopped. But it's nice that Alien was one of those movies that can hold a trophy with getting protested when they first came out. I don't know if you guys heard about that.
No, that's news to me. What did they object to religiously as far as the original Alien film?
I gotta look back into it. But I think it was I honestly I think it was because it was about aliens and it was a horror movie, and you know how crazy religious fanatics were, especially in the 70s with movies such as like The Exorcist coming out, where you had people protesting lines around the block and everything.
Didn't it come out within the vicinity of E.T.?
Oh, what, Alien?
Yeah.
No, that was The Thing. The Thing came out in 1981. Yeah, I mean Baron can back me up on this. But when The Thing came out, one of the reasons why The Thing did so terrible box office wise is because no one wanted a scary alien. They wanted a happy fucking little monster who wants to go back home. Where The Thing was the exact opposite.
Yeah, the Thing came out about 2-3 weeks after E.T.
Right.
It was 1982. And Carpenter told him not to release the film because he knew everybody was so happy with the alien, and then he's going to bring unholy hell upon everybody. And studios don't listen, so they released the film, and it bombed, and now it's become a cult hit after that, and everybody enjoys the film now.
I remember seeing the original Alien in the theater in '79. I don't recall any protest or any pushback. The only criticism I recall of the film at the time was the fact that it was a slow build. As a matter of fact, I went with a group of fellas, and I was in high school at the time, and one or two of the fellas that I was with got up and walked out. Within the first 40 minutes of the movie, they said, "Fuck this, I'm bored," and they left. They completely left the theater, and I stayed behind, of course, and I loved, absolutely loved the film because it looked and acted and smelled like nothing else that we had seen up until this point, and it's just beautifully executed. And look at to this day with Alien Covenant how Ridley Scott's been able to return come full circle back into this world after leaving it for several decades is kind of strange. I think not many filmmakers get to do that. So it's a great franchise, you know. And the first movie, you know, certainly freaked a lot of people out, freaked everybody out. It's got a great cast, and we lost John Hurt not long ago, who had a wonderful part in the movie. Ian Holm is my favorite character in the film. You know, that was such a shocking moment in the movie when we discovered that Ash is an android. It's just that moment, I think, is almost as shocking as anything with the creatures in it.
Yeah, and you know what's funny?
That reveal is about as shocking as anything that you found from the creatures. And what's the theme of the franchise? What's the theme of all of these films? Who's the monster? Is it the creatures or is it the corporation? And that kind of illustrates there in that scene when Yaphet Kotto picks up the cylinder and beats his fucking head off his shoulders, and that really kind of illustrates, I think, the theme of the entire franchise, which is who's really the monster here.
I think Roger Ebert was the monster, considering that he talked so much shit about the movie when it first came out, and then like later on he like wrote about it being like a historical like piece of art, and he like glammed over the whole fucking movie. But when it first came out, Mr. Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, Alien wasn't good enough for him. Yeah, fuck him. Like, honestly, he was the worst. He wasn't the worst, but like his whole...
He was a champion of the genre, Roger Ebert. Yeah. Roger Ebert was a champion of the genre. When a lot of other critics, not to digress, but when a lot of other critics would turn their back on the genre, Roger Ebert was actually a champion. And Cronenberg's The Fly is one of his favorite movies. But not to digress.
Yeah, no, I understand. But back to my to what I was saying originally in 1979. Religious groups got so upset about it. It played at the Egyptian theater, the Grauman's Egyptian Theater in Hollywood, and religious goers were so upset about it that there was a prop space jockey in the theater, and they fucking set it on fire. Like,
jeez,
no lie. Like, out of all things, let's set the space jockey on fire. And then, Prometheus comes out, and that movie is fire.
I was going to say, I wonder how those people felt about Prometheus then.
Well, they're probably all dead.
Hey,
I wonder if it was Giger's biomechanical, erotic illustration and art direction in the film that maybe perhaps had them upset. I mean, there's a lot of orifices and a lot of phallic symbols and
a lot of vagina-looking creatures.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in the film. So perhaps that had. I mean, Giger's work is very polarizing. You either really like it or you're really shocked by it. I was introduced to his work through the Emerson, Lake and Palmer album, Brain Salad Surgery. Was the first time that I'd ever seen work by H.R. Giger, and this was a few years before Alien came out, and so his work just struck me right away, and been a fan ever since.
It's crazy to think about how Alien is just a side project of what should have been Alejandro Jodorowsky's Dune, the disaster of Dune that was supposed to come out. I think it was Fox Studios that canned the whole project. I gotta watch the documentary again. But Giger, Dan O'Bannon, they all knew each other from Dune. They all got together, and the whole the visionary was it was created by the whole team together. And then they since Dune failed, they went off and made Alien. It's like, thinking about it, was it a blessing in disguise that we never got Alejandro Jodorowsky's Dune? And we got Alien. Yeah, it kind of is a blessing in disguise because it spawned a great sequel. One great sequel. The rest were okay. Aliens was fucking awesome. Kind of just going on a little bit. Aliens was awesome, and I think James Cameron. I know we're jumping up a little bit, but hey, it's a free for all. James Cameron said it was kind of like a slap in the face when they released Alien 3 in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Corporal Hicks and Newt are dead. It was just, and I feel like a lot of fans to this day have not gotten over that. And Alien 3 is known as the worst Alien movie, but some of you guys here think that Resurrection is the worst, which I think you're all fucking lying. I think Resurrection is way better than 3. Although the director's cut of 3 was really good. I don't know. What did you guys think?
Well, 3 was kind of doomed to failure from the beginning. I mean, they began photography without a finished script, and if that's not the kiss of death for any film, I don't know what is. I mean, very, very, very few movies that begin filming without a finished script end up with a coherent narrative, and I think that that's exactly what the issue is with Alien 3, is that it's an incoherent narrative. And when you're shooting on the fly, no way to run an army, really.
Yeah, and to think it was probably one of those situations, and there were so many big name producers in the original Alien, even to this day. Walter Hill being one of the executive producers of the Alien franchise. I think one of the things with David Fincher directing the movie was that he was allowed to have his creative control. It was the big studio that took over, and since he was such a new director, they just kind of forced their way of their vision, and it was sloppy. Alien 3 was just a sloppy movie theatrically. The director's cut is a little better because it's a little more extended and you get to see some of the relationships build, but it's still the same movie. It's, I don't know. It's just a jumbled mess, especially when you have a bunch of people, trying to get their way. And why not? They're spending so much money to get this movie on its feet. Why shouldn't they have their way? I mean, Ray, you've been a producer for a long time. I mean, you want to see something that you're investing into. You want to have your voice into that investment. And I think that what happened is there was a lot of big egos with Alien 3. But Aliens, going back to Aliens was a phenomenal fucking sequel to the movie Alien, because it was the first time that we got to see a female character portrayed not only as a hero but as a motherly figure, and it shows more in the extended version, like how Ellen Ripley has a child that she leaves behind on Earth when she went on the Nostromo, and then after she went into hypersleep, she wakes up to find out her daughter is dead, and while she was in hypersleep. And that's a big thing that they take away from the theatrical version. And the whole, it just makes a lot more sense, especially with the LV-426, seeing, miners on the planet and, just civilization in the extended cut. Because you see people working on the planet, and you see Newt's family, and it just kind of separates Newt from her family when her family gets killed. And then, Ripley comes in and becomes like this motherly figure to her. I know, Morgan, we were talking about earlier, like differences between a theatrical and director's cut. The director's cut itself is just, way more phenomenal. Well, theatrical cut's fucking awesome, but the director's cut definitely explains a lot more, and it just has that.
It makes the characters more endearing. It makes Ripley's character more endearing, and it's also like half hour longer. A lot more character development and exposition. Not to mention the Colonial Marines. Those guys are a riot.
This is a case where the deleted footage from a movie put back in actually makes it a better film. Aliens is already a damn good movie. Once again, I saw it, when it came out theatrically. I saw it on the big screen, and it was just 40 miles of bad road. You know, that whole experience, just watching it in a theater with, you know, a big sound system going on the big screen was just, you know, intense. But then to get the director's cut, and I recommend everybody get this, to get the director's cut and see the additional footage, it just makes a good movie better.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is also the same treatment with Alien. Another cool thing about Ridley Scott's original version, which I hope to see with Alien Covenant, because I know that we got some sort of like theatrical version of Alien Covenant that we were supposed to maybe get something else because they played additional footage when they were promoting Alien Covenant of the crew on board the ship and their lives, and they're having like a dinner party and everything, and also Elizabeth Shaw's character with David going into this into the planet where the planet of the engineers is what I want to fucking call it. But they do the same thing with Alien, where Ripley has a three-way relationship with Dallas and well, it's not like a three-way relationship; it's like a triangle relationship that Ridley Scott takes out of the theatrical, but in the director's cut, it's more obvious that there is this love triangle between Ripley, Dallas, and I can't remember her name.
The only other girl in the movie.
The only other girl, Nancy. Was it Nancy Cartwright?
Oh wait, hold on. Let me look in my little book.
Veronica Cartwright, and
Yeah.
and it has that relationship, and you see that like the two women are so tense because they're both in love with Dallas, and this was all taken away from the theatrical version, and then you get to see the biggest thing about Alien that they should have never cut was the cocoon scene with Dallas. I think that that should have been there, because they later on show the cocoons in Aliens and Alien 3, and especially Alien Resurrection, which everyone hates. And they show that first glimpse of Ripley going down the shaft, and she sees Dallas wrapped up in a cocoon, and he's saying, "Kill me." It's one of those things where it's you should have kept it in the fucking movie, at least in my opinion. I don't know. What do you guys think? A lot of energy. Not everyone talk at once. Well, it's a hot topic,
That's part of the director's cut or whatever for the first movie? Or
yeah.
Lead
You gotta-
Okay, then I saw the theatrical version because I wasn't sure which version I watched because I put the DVD in and it just started playing. But then it said that there were two versions on the disc, but it didn't let me choose. So, but
And I think
so I must have seen the theatrical.
I think all 4 DVDs and Blu-rays have the option to watch the theatrical or the extended.
Yeah, that's what it said on my booklet, but it just started playing right away and didn't even let me choose, so I wasn't sure. I figured it was probably the theatrical, but yeah. Mystery solved. I watched the theatrical version. And
Still good.
yeah. And
Yes.
like Rayzilla was saying, it was weird. It was because I found it slow but not slow at the same time. I know that doesn't sound like it makes sense, but like while I was watching it, I was like, oh, not that much has happened. But then I looked at how much time had passed, and it was like 40-something minutes. And I was like, whoa, that much time has passed already? So it was like slow but fast at the same time.
Because it's building slowly. The tension was rising all the time. Ever since they get back onto the Nostromo from checking out the homing beacon, it escalates completely.
Yeah, that's what we call feeling the length of the movie. When you're sitting in the theater and you're watching something, and this movie is going on and on and on and on, you say to yourself, "God, I can really feel the length of this film." Despite the fact that it does feel slow, it moves. Yet it does move along. Not unlike Prometheus. In a way that the film feels slow, yet it moves along. And Prometheus is another, one of the films in the franchise that really I think could have benefited from the additional footage, from the footage they took out. Here's a case where I think the theatrical needed some of the supplemental material that was left out of the film because audiences left confused by Prometheus.
Yeah, I tried to Google a question about Prometheus after I had watched it because I had seen it. I have like years ago on TV or something, but I didn't really remember much, so I rewatched it, and it turned out I remembered even less than I thought. But yeah, so I was confused, and I tried to Google something about it, but then a question about Alien Covenant came up that spoiled something that happens in Alien Covenant. So if you want to Google anything about Prometheus, be careful.
Be careful.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. Spoilers out nowadays are all over. The internet is wild, and the government's trying to put a ban on it, but not as long as we're keeping it alive, folks. Gotta love the independent shit. I haven't heard from Baron in a while. Baron, have you seen any of the Alien movies?
Yes, I have. Now, just to put this down to a real simple understanding, the latest one. Let's have a little fun with this with movie titles, because this is the best way to explain the latest one without giving away any spoilers. See, basically, you got a bunch of people who kind of have a little accident out in space, and they take a wrong turn. And basically a phone call, if you will, comes in, and they answer. And you're not supposed to answer the phone. Because let's face it, in space, everyone knows you're alone. No one's coming to your aid. We're all aware of this. So what happens? They go to the planet. They land there because, after all, this is what you got to do. Because you got to find out where the message is coming from, right? So what do? You go into the woods. What's the first rule? You don't go into the woods. These are horror rules, folks. Listen carefully. Now, later on, we're going to be going into a basement. We all know never go into the basement, especially with a guy who's acting really strange, and he's an android. You know these things are not that great. They do short circuit a lot. Face it, we have movies about robots doing that all the time.
No good can come of it.
That's right. We don't go in the basement. Don't answer the phone. Don't go in the woods. Don't take the wrong turn. There's all these rules.
Don't go to the bathroom.
Don't trust robots.
You should be aware of this one. I'm going to go out on a limb here for some people. Over in Star Trek Generations, we had Data and his brother Lore. Guess what? Be aware of that, because that kind of plays a little into this movie too. Those two, one was good, one was evil. There you guys go. I give you enough insight about this movie. Now, just to let you know, Ridley Scott's got two more hold up in a bullpen to put these entire movie together. He's kind of making Aliens into Star Wars for his own little world. Now, as we talk about the other movies for a moment, I really want to understand something simply. How does a cat get the same kind of sleep rate that Ripley gets in the tube? I mean, I really like to understand, how does they know the cat and the woman at the same time in the same tube, and this cat has the same lifespan?
We got Neil deGrasse Tyson here. Whoa, with the deep shit going on. Whoa.
Okay, just a little one there. I mean, that's just a minor one on the movie. Besides, hey, everybody gets to wear boxers, and with the technology we've got out there that's so advanced, we've got this little strip right across the nipples for the two women. So we've got technology up the wazoo. Speaking of technology up the wazoo, back to the film I just saw the other day, the latest Alien movie. Boy, talk about technology. You can't get a transmission to look better than what it came out as so long ago. I mean, it's supposed to be set in the future. Transmission looks like it's crap from the 1980s. I mean, like we got off a bootleg station somewhere. So I had no problem with the technology issue there. It's always supposed to be advanced, and it's never advanced. It always looks like, well, what we got. Now, to Aliens. Aliens is a good movie. I mean, I like Aliens. Got Marines, combative, it's all these things. Of course, one person who did star in the film really thought she was signing up for an illegal alien movie. And actually, she didn't understand there were xenomorphs out there. So that was kind of neat. Now, as for the movie, I have another problem here. It's just a minor one. Why the hell is Bishop in one of the tubes waking up? I thought he was an android. I mean, what the hell is he to go to sleep for? I mean,
They don't need hypersleep.
Lifespan here too? I'm just curious about these things. I need people to explain it to me. Otherwise, I would like to know how we got Newt, since there seems to be this sleep time. You're supposed to be sleeping, but she was born on the planet. She was asleep. How does that work? We got a bar. 60 families, and no one knows where the bar is. We got it in neon lighting. I think the crew wanted to go somewhere and drink at some time. I mean, it's a great movie. I find it great when they're stealing themselves off from everything. They just forget to check the roof. No one checks ceilings. I mean, what is this? Hey, find every possible way in. Wait a minute, forgot to drop ceiling. Oh, well, shit, it happens. Why is Bert going with us on this trip out to space, especially onto the planet? What is his need to go there? Who cares? Don't need it. No bother for this. Don't worry. He's going to open up some tubes and get some aliens out. How can he do this? Is he got all this technology? Go, let me just pick up this tube. Carefully walk it over. Don't worry. This thing that wants to suck your face will not have a problem attacking me right now. I'll just release it into the tube. I got a few questions. Anyone want to help me out in these answers? I don't know, because I have a whole bunch more for me to go right through. I mean, I just like to understand all these little things. So who wants to help out?
With the technology thing, actually, that you're talking about the technology in Alien Covenant, right? It looks okay. Well, that could be explained because they want to like maybe try to not make it look better than the technology in the films that have Alien in the title, since because before, so like at the time we had less technology, and they can't make the technology from Alien Covenant look better than that technology, even though our present technology is better. Does that make any sense?
So you're saying like a continuity?
You got what I'm saying.
Because the technology in Alien was very green screen, voice activation, and then you're getting movies like Prometheus where everything is like fucking touch screen and there's like little holograms and like. Yeah,
maybe they had to go back to the simplistic style for late and more in the future with the old fucking old school Apple I computers or whatever the hell they're called.
Well, you know what? Continuity wise, I gotta give credit to Alien Isolation for the gaming console and the PC. Xbox, PlayStation 3 and 4, Xbox One, whatever, what the fuck ever. Okay, but the continuity in those video games was the same. The continuity of the technology was the same from Alien and Aliens. So they kept that. That was awesome. Like the whole green screen technology and everything. Like you figured that Ridley Scott would just keep up with his own continuity, but you're right, Morgan. Everything's like touch screen. There's holograms, and I don't know. It just seems like going on what you were saying, Baron. With the androids, why is David and what was the other one's name? Walter or
I know.
Walter.
It was Walter.
Yes.
Yeah. Why are they more advanced than
Ash?
Ash
and
Bishop. Yes.
Because
why are they more advanced than Ash and Bishop?
Because they were dude's personal assistant guys, so he had the best ones. Bam.
You're talking about Mr. Wayland?
Yeah, they made him. Yeah. He made him like his son, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's where it all came from. But Ash would be like a replica.
Well, think about.
Yeah, but he wanted the best for himself, so he made.
What if the economy isn't very good after maybe that's why the computer technology went downhill. Maybe that's why the androids became lesser versions of David. Maybe the economy. Maybe he lost money making the androids. And
I mean,
Ray's got a point. Ray's got a point because you mass produce something. And as you mass produce it and you lower the price point, it gets made a little shittier and a little shittier and a little shittier, and so that by the time you're done with it, you're left with Winona Ryder, and
straight economics.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
Well, you got to think of, her health generates pretty quickly. I mean, that's something that wasn't introduced, that was introduced later on.
How far into the
future Alien Covenant? What's up?
How far into the future is Alien Resurrection from Alien 3 or Alien?
Oh my God. Isn't it like 10,000 years or something like that? It's like real in the future.
Maybe they did better.
The
price went up and they could make better and female.
I know Aliens is 57 years after Alien, but how far is Alien 3 from Aliens?
Oh, I like Alien 3.
Let's see if it says in this handy booklet.
Well, Alien Resurrection takes place 200 years after Alien 3,
Oh
There
shit.
you go.
Okay.
2379. So Alien 3
Oh,
takes
tick-a-tock.
place. Give me a second.
That's crazy. Yeah, no, that's absolutely crazy.
It
But
doesn't
So
say.
yeah, it's
you know, while you guys are doing the research on it, you know, if you guys ever get to gaming, play Alien Isolation. Do not play Alien Colonial Marines.
I'm willing to play Alien Isolation, but it's first person, and that
They,
should
you know,
give you a headache.
yeah,
And the
it's first person, but it's a lot of fun. It's like it's survival horror. It's just like Resident Evil, except you know you can run around, you can duck.
yeah,
And
You know,
I
hide.
agree.
hide. You just
Alright.
can't kill the xenomorph. You know, just like in Resident Evil, you can't kill the zombies. Or Resident Evil 7. Let me say that Resident Evil 7, or maybe you can kill this. I haven't played Resident Evil 7. But Alien Isolation is a really fun game. Aliens had on and off games like the ones for Nintendo by R&J. They were produced by R&J. They were, or was it RJN? I don't know.
I remember
It's with the
those.
rainbow. You know what I'm
LJN.
talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
LJN.
Those games are awful, but
Alien
Aliens
3
for the arcade was fucking awesome.
Alien 3 happens 1 year after Aliens.
And
Wait.
and
Oh,
Alien
really?
3, Alien 3
Yeah.
was great for the set. It was Sega Genesis, and then I think like Super Nintendo was like the really bad version. I don't know. Go ahead, Ray. You found out the answers.
Yeah, I found a timeline. It's pretty interesting. It with Prometheus taking place in 2089 and 2093 is where the major part of Prometheus takes place, and then Alien Covenant takes place in 2104,
Mhm.
and then
Hmm.
Alien is 2122. Isolation is the game you were just talking about is 2137.
Mhm.
Aliens takes place in 2183 and 2179. And then Alien 3 is 2184. And then Alien Resurrection, which I have on my TV right now, 2386.
Wow.
And
Very cool.
2434. Jesus Christ. Bounces all over the place.
That's right. Jesus Christ came along when? 22?
This is from alienanthology.wikia.com.
Sounds like the Jewish calendar to me.
I wouldn't know.
So it's
But
Alien Resurrection, you know, Brian, you've mentioned a couple of times that we all hate it, and I don't necessarily hate it. I think 3 is the weaker movie of
Thank you.
the franchise. But
3 is more like horror than all the other ones other than Alien.
well, the thing is, and I don't want to praise number 4 too much. I don't want to praise Alien. Please don't get me
yeah,
wrong.
you
I
do.
don't- one of the
Yeah, you
big
do.
turnoffs. One of the big turnoffs
No,
of Alien
stop it.
Resurrection for me is the humor. A lot of the humor really doesn't work for me. Particularly the opening sequence. There's, you know, when he squishes the little bug and he looks at the guts on his finger and he looks and he wipes it off and there is, you know, some of the casting. I think some characters were miscast.
Yeah.
I really felt that the material was beneath Sigourney Weaver. She's a finer actress than the material that they gave her for that movie. She's a much better actress than that.
Oh, you mean that basketball scene didn't tickle your fancy?
No, but it wasn't. Also, too, you know, she wasn't exactly Ripley either in the film,
No.
and that was also another enormous turnoff. Is that her character is Ripley, but isn't Ripley, and doesn't doesn't hit the right notes that we want from that character because she's this clone and part creature as well. So, but the effects are excellent. The production is great. It does move along very, very well. It's well paced. It doesn't really drag in too many spots. So it's, you know, it's enjoyable to watch. But it's just meh for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, what worked for Delicatessen with Jean Pierre Jeunet, what worked for Delicatessen did not work obviously for Alien Resurrection, because it was kind of like what you were saying. It was a comedy, and I believe that Joss Whedon wrote the script for it, and
Yeah, that's right.
he was appalled later on, when the movie was finally released, that it was like this comedic action sci-fi camp fest.
Slapstick.
Yeah, right, Jared. It was a lot along the lines of being slapstick.
Yeah, the plot is very, very, very pedestrian. I mean, it's got Ron Perlman in it. Bless him. You could put Ron Perlman in anything with me, and fuck, man, I'll watch it. I mean, I love the guy. I've never met him. I don't have his autograph in my collection. But I'm just an enormous fan of not just his movies, but his choices. I love his choices as an actor. Just love him. So put him in anything, and I like it. So the movie has its pluses and it has its minuses for me. But the thing that I find the funniest about the director's cut of Alien Resurrection is that when you play the director's cut, it opens with a preamble from the director himself, and he kind of appears to be perplexed as to why there needs to be a director's cut, because he says in his opening comment that there's already been a director's cut. You saw it in the theater. But nonetheless, I've been asked to put this together. So it's kind of a bizarre comment that he makes early on. Pop this disc in if you have it at home and go and watch how it opens, where he kind of seems to be like, well, I showed you the director's cut, but here's what they asked me to put together on the DVD. If he was from Jersey City, he would have explained it that way. But
I wonder if because the movie didn't do so well, they're like
very
the
interesting.
producers. I wonder if the producer just kind of said, make sure you make this public announcement to the viewer that your version sucks and that there's a director's cut version, so we can make more money off of this.
He really does. He looks into the camera and he seems like it's almost like he's thinking in his head, well, okay, they probably just sat him somewhere, turned the camera on, and said.
So I started watching this before the show started. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Doesn't he seem?
He seems like what he's saying, but. Before all the extended editions or director's cuts, they have. I know James Cameron did it for Aliens, and I think Ridley Scott did for the first Alien movie on the director's cuts too. Explain why they are doing the director's cuts. But yeah, he looked perplexed and like, he looked kind of peeved too. I thought, like shitting on his image of a shitty movie.
He does seem a little peeved. I agree. It's because he states very plainly that you already saw the director's cut in what was in the theater. So it's
almost like he felt annoyed even explaining himself.
Yeah, it's a bizarre opening. It really, really is. I urge anybody who's got the DVD to go pop it in and check it out, or run out and grab the DVD. Just for that alone, it's hysterical.
Well, is announcing something as a director's cut? Does that seem to be the way that the big companies are marketing, are doing market strategizing? Because it seems like every time there's a movie in the theater that is a flop, for instance, Batman versus Superman, or the other one, Suicide Squad, they later on say, oh well, you didn't see the original director's cut version, which is rated R and has all.
Well, of course, like, that's a marketing tool to offer what you couldn't see in the theater. Of course, that's as old as that's as old as time with DVDs.
And it's crazy.
Double dipping your chip.
Yeah, and it's like if you have this better version, like this better director's cut version, why not show it?
Hold on, I think theaters. Part of it with Aliens, for instance, sometimes studios have films have to stick to a certain runtime, especially in the 80s and 90s. I think they wanted to stick to like under 2 hours. And the Aliens, because I think the Aliens director's cut is better. It shows
it's over 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I love it. I saw that before I ever saw the regular version, but like there's more backstory of the colony, you know,
Right.
and with Newt, and so you don't see. I think in the original, I recently just watched the original cut again for the first time in years, and I think the original cut you don't meet Newt until she's scurrying around like a rat, and you know, inside the installation. But like in the director's cut, you meet her family, and you get a little bit more background with the character really early on in the movie, which I thought was I watching the director's cut. I keep thinking to myself, why did they cut all this out? And the only thing I could think of, and I think even James Cameron says it before, you know, he introduces the director's cut. Like I was saying, I think he even says it was because the studio wanted it down to a certain, you know, like 2 hours or whatever it is. Because I think it's just barely over 2 hours of the regular cut. And I think that's one of the biggest things is then that Batman versus Superman is the same way. It was over almost 3 hours long, and they had to cut it down. That's why it got cut to shit.
You have to remember that in theory, the theory was, and you're absolutely correct. And you have to think about the time in which this was happening. We're talking about the mid '80s, where large movie theaters were being cut up into 2 screens, 3 screens. They were being partitioned and things like that. So the theory is, you know, the theater is only open for a certain amount of hours in the day. If you release a 3-hour film, we can only run it twice, you know, and then we have to start paying the theater staff overtime. So if you keep the movie down to 2 hours, then we could show it 3 times per screen. We could show it 4 times per screen if you keep the runtime modest. But if you deliver a 3-hour film, a 3-hour and 10-minute film, in theory, you can only run it a couple of times. So you're not bringing asses into the seats with a long film. That's the theory.
So this whole conversation about the director's cut started. Y'all were talking about Alien Resurrection, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because in this little booklet thing that I have that came with my DVD pack, it says that Ridley Scott also prefers the theatrical version of Alien compared to the director's cut. And it says that I felt the original cut of Alien was perfect, and I still feel that way. And then it was re-released in theaters, and they added the studio added more, like a lot more deleted scenes that they wanted to. And then whenever they released it on DVD, Ridley Scott cut down the re-release version that had more deleted scenes, so it still that on the DVD. So that was the director's cut because it still had more scenes than the original cut, but less than the second theatrical run showing or something. But yeah, he prefers the original theatrical cut.
As do I with
this.
Alien. I prefer the theatrical because for me, there's a lot of buildup in the first hour or so in the movie, and it's just there's things I didn't care about, like Brian was talking about earlier with the love triangle. Just that's forgettable to me, you know, with what's happening with the rest of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like I wanted to. It's stupid. I like you know, to get character background, but these characters, the way the Alien to me was built was like they're all cannon fodder anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's like, especially I saw Alien 3 in 1992 and at the drive-in with Batman Returns, and that was the first one I saw. So going back and seeing Alien years later, like maybe 5 years later, I knew that Ripley would be the only survivor. So watching it in that mindset, knowing that everyone else is going to die, seeing that scene with the alien bursting out of the chest, you know, I knew all this stuff was coming. So
Yeah.
when I watched the director's cut, it was just like useless shit that I didn't need. And I prefer the original version, which is really the director's cut if Ridley Scott prefers it.
Yeah.
So
The only thing
the Aliens director's cut is superior
Yes.
I think Alien 3, you go either way. I like both cuts of Alien 3. Alien Resurrection, to me, is just an awful movie, period. And the director's cut is agonizing. There's some cool stuff. There's some cool effects. Like I just saw
No, he's right.
shoot the alien in the mouth. That was cool, but the whole basketball scene with Ron what the fuck? Come on.
Yeah.
It's like Catwoman.
It gets silly. The only thing I wish about the Alien that they would have kept in the theatrical cut was the cocoon scene with Dallas. That's my only
I agree with
biggest
that.
concern because it explains
Right.
the sequels. It feels empty when you watch the theatrical cut and you see Dallas go down the shaft and he turns around and there's a xenomorph with his hands like that and then it cuts and you don't see Dallas anymore. It's like, where did he go? It's like, is he going to be a survivor?
But that scene is kind of iconic at the same time.
Wait.
Yeah, it is. But I would, as a viewer, I want to see the aftermath. I want to see what
Look,
happens.
there's nothing wrong, but that's a fine complaint because you have to. What you're looking for is to ask and answer the question. What happened to Dallas in that moment? And I think as a director, Scott chose to leave it to us to imagine what happened to Dallas. I think, yes, it's a very cool scene with Tom Skerritt when he's hung there, and it gives us more insight into the way that these creatures operate.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a creative decision. It was scary as shit to me when I saw it.
That's one of the
It worked for me. It worked for me in the theater.
I took it away because Alien was the scariest. It was a survival horror movie. Like Resident Evil survival horror. It was like survival horror, and it's so dark throughout the whole movie, and it's like you never know what's around every corner, I guess, and that built up even though I knew that Ripley was going to be the last survivor, it still built up all this tension.
It humanized,
and I think
it humanized the main character. It humanized the main characters as being mortal. That was the first movie, and that's what it did so well. Go ahead.
I just think it slowed it down even more. The director's cut.
Okay, so in the theatrical version, whenever Dallas runs into the xenomorph in the shaft or whatever, that's the last time you see him?
Yes.
Yes.
Watch the director's cut then.
Okay, so you were able to see Dallas in the cocoon saying, "Kill me."
Yeah.
Please kill me. Please kill me.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, no, we never saw that in the theater. No.
Yeah. But
Also,
go ahead.
it's just the whole time I was watching Alien, I don't know why, but I was like expecting, oh no, my computer's falling. But anyway, I was expecting like the people to be aliens. Like I was watching The Thing. I don't know. It was like like I was like, is this person really a person or is this an alien? But I'm not watching The Thing. I'm watching Aliens. So
well, it's easy to get into that mindset. Both are rock stars of movies in the sci-fi horror genre.
Both are top 5 horror movies, period. If you ask me, in my opinion, The Thing and Alien.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but
the best horror films ever made.
Yeah, the rewatch value on those movies is extremely high.
Huge.
Yeah.
For both of them, especially The Thing, because I still catch things I didn't know. Actually, you know what? Alien too.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They still catch things I didn't notice before.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then,
if
if any of us, if most of us feel that Alien Resurrection is the worst film, where does it place Prometheus?
Yeah, it's funny. Let me talk about Prometheus for a minute. So when we decided we were going to do a show on the Alien movies, I was like, let me watch Prometheus again because I haven't watched it in 2 years. I remember watching Prometheus for the first time. I rented it or I bought it on DVD or something like that. And it was a 2-hour movie that felt like it was 3 or 4 hours long. But so I watched the first half of it, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I turned it off. I came back the next day, and that's when everything started picking up. And for the second half of the movie, everything is happening, you know. And there's some things I didn't understand. I think Prometheus is better than Resurrection, but there's some fun parts. Well, I said Resurrection's really bad, but there are some fun things that happen in Resurrection. Brad Dourif, he's amazing in everything he does.
Right.
The scene right now, I totally forgot about. The underwater scene with the aliens is super cool. There's some super cool things, but Prometheus is like it's like the beginning of everything, and the last 30 minutes or so for me really picked up the movie for me, and I like it now more than I did previously. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I think this one, Resurrection, may be the worst, but it also at times can be the fun. Except for Aliens, because Aliens is by far the most fun out of all of them. You got Hudson being a bitch the entire time and trying to get out of this chicken shit outfit. But and then Hicks is a badass. I mean, Aliens is, you know what? I don't even consider Aliens a horror movie. They took a horror movie, an Alien, and then made Aliens an action war movie, which was super cool.
Yeah.
That's another thing I like about the series is each installment is different. It's not straight up following the horror tropes, Aliens is different from Alien. Alien 3 is very similar to Alien, but it's still different. And then Alien Resurrection is it's a 90s sci-fi movie, no offense, Ray.
No, but in defense of Alien 3 and in defense of David Fincher.
Well, hold on. Alien 3 had the coolest ending, by the way. It was the first time they didn't shoot an alien out of an airlock. Like Ripley falling, and she's got the alien getting ready to burst out. That was fucking awesome. And then she grabs it as she falls in. That was so cool.
Now there's two different endings. Was that the theatrical one where the alien pops out?
Plus the alien was different because it came from sorry, my computer's messed up earlier. It's working now, but if I missed that part, it was born from the alien came out of a dog. And so like I wrote an article about Alien 3, and I'm sorry to cut you off, Ray, but I liked the way that they made the alien more animal-like. And the director said he wanted it to be more like a puma. So if you take that with you next time you watch Alien 3.
I think the biggest problem for me with Alien 3 was that we killed off these two characters that we've built up. James Cameron was a fresh young director. He only had like one movie under his belt before that. It was Piranha 2.
Terminator. Don't forget Terminator.
Was Terminator before Aliens?
Yeah.
84, 86.
Okay. So we had Piranha 2. He had Terminator, and then he had Alien. So he was a fresh director, and he made this action-packed. Even in someone who isn't a horror fan, someone who just likes movies, will always talk about how Aliens is one of the best movies ever made because it's got so many one-liners. Especially from Bill Paxton. It's got that heroic. Heroine vibe where we have a strong female lead, and this is such a huge influence, especially during the 80s. It wasn't very often that we were getting all these iconic female heroes in these in movies, especially action movies. And Sigourney Weaver is kind of the pillar, is the very foundation of the future for female leads who kick ass.
Hey, you know what, Brian? Give me 1 second. There would be no Alice in Resident Evil if not for Ripley and Alien.
There would be no Alice in Resident Evil if it wasn't for Resident Evil.
You know what I'm saying? I was trying to make a joke that gets you all amped up.
Fuck that franchise. No, not the video game, but fuck the movie franchise. I'm so glad it's getting a reboot. Don't even get me started, Ray. You know how to just get me sidetracked, you son of a bitch. God damn it.
Get in, Brian.
But
what I was gonna say is that in defense of David Fincher and in defense of Alien 3, Cameron's Aliens is a really tough act to follow.
Oh yeah.
So in defense of Alien 3 for just a second, it's not my favorite. And again, it was rushed into production.
Mhm.
They had no script. That is the kiss of death, time and time and time again for a
Do you know-
film, is
do
when
you
you
know how
have a
many,
release date. You
directors-
have a release date even before you've shot the film. It's insanity. It's not the way to get it done, and the movie almost always suffers as a result.
Do you know how many directors they approached to make that movie, and people turned it down?
Yeah, yeah. But
Before
look,
they settle on a music video director.
in their defense, Aliens
Music
is a
video
great,
director.
Cameron's movie is a great, great, great movie, and so it's a tough act to follow.
Because David Fincher, you're right, Jared. David Fincher was directing music videos, and then they picked him up. All the people started with music
Obviously, his
videos like
career
Jack
has
Steiner.
gotten a lot better since then.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Especially with movies such as what was it? There's Fight Club,
Fight Club 7.
Seven.
Gone Girl.
Well, maybe.
Gone Girl, yeah.
I've never seen Gone
Yeah.
Girl.
Gone Girl's
Gone Girl was
amazing.
so good. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It is good, Brian.
And now he's doing Mindhunters for it's going to be a new Netflix show coming on soon this year, which I auditioned for. It was a terrible audition. I'll send you guys the video privately. But
No,
But-
post that-
but Alien
You know-
Alien 3, go ahead.
I was going to say I have a real love-hate relationship with Prometheus too, because Prometheus is a good movie, but
You don't like prequels, we know.
no, it's not so much that I don't like prequels. It's that I think that
Thank you, Morgan.
no, she's right. She's right. I flinch right away from it. It's like having a mosquito in your ear.
Hold on, Ray. Did you know it was a prequel going in though? Because I know you
Oh,
guys.
yeah, I was gonna ask that too.
yes. But I think that they that they failed to tell their story. When you go to YouTube and you look at all of the different videos that are there of this deleted scene and that deleted scene, and this is explained and that is explained. I think all of that activity only illustrates that you failed to tell your story, or you failed to convey your story to the audience. If all of this supplemental material is required to get a better picture of the narrative, then you didn't serve up a good enough narrative in the first place. And that's just my opinion. It's still a good movie. It's a fascinating movie, but
Visually beautiful too.
it is visually beautiful. It's and also too, as an audience, you need to come. It demands a lot of the audience. You need to know the alien folklore. Okay, you need to know the folklore of Alien, but also you got to be up on your Greek mythology. Also, Prometheus isn't just the name of the ship. That's what this film is about. And if you know your Greek mythology and you know the story of Prometheus, Prometheus was the fire bearer who stole fire from the gods. And this is
From
a
the gods.
This is a metaphor for stealing life. If you remember, Mary Shelley's story, Frankenstein, was the modern Prometheus for stealing life. So you also need to be aware of, and of course, Prometheus suffered. Prometheus was strapped to a rock and had his liver pecked out day after day by an eagle. And the liver being the only organ in our bodies that regenerates, he suffered this fate day after day. The eagle would come and peck out his liver would grow back, and the eagle would return day after day, and that was his punishment for stealing
Everlasting
fire from the
torment.
gods. So when the engineer strikes back, the big mystery of Prometheus is why did the engineers hate Earth so much that they want to destroy us? Because Prometheus stole fire from the gods, because Wayland was beginning to create androids. That's the key to it.
See, that's a good analogy. I like that.
And if you and to take it just a little bit further, the film really truly reminds me of Kubrick's 2001. Again, a movie that was released at the time that really went over the heads of a lot of people. A lot of people didn't understand what 2001 is about, and 2001 is very simply about the evolution of man. It begins with the dawn of man and us depicted as Cro-Magnon man, and it ends with the Star Child at the end. And this is the entire film is about the evolution of man. And Prometheus is very much similar to this. So I have a love-hate relationship with the movie because I like it, I get it, I know what it's about, but it takes a lot of work to get there.
Yeah, and 2001 Space Odyssey is amazing.
It
While you're on
told better.
edibles.
Masterpiece.
Well, that's a story for another show, kids, because your old Uncle Ray saw that movie a few times, and I can't remember 2 or 3 times that I went to see 2001.
You're the only one, man.
Oh, dude, I'll tell you, because that was the thing to do back in the day. You know, there was no HBO, nothing like that. You went to the theater tripping, and you went to go see 2001. You know, and,
At least you didn't trip and go see Jacob's Ladder.
No. But again, so Prometheus, you know, for me is it takes a lot of work to get what the movie is about, and you know, so I have that kind of sort of love-hate relationship with it. They didn't quite get it right in the theatrical cut.
It could
I
have
don't
been
know what
longer.
you guys think. Who else saw Prometheus?
It could have
Go
been
ahead, Jared.
longer. They could have fleshed it out. I agree.
And it felt like it was 4 hours long. No,
I see, Ray. I don't understand how like you're feeling about the time with, because to me, like last night I watched Alien, and then right after I watched Alien, I watched Prometheus, and they felt like they had the exact same pacing to me. Well, yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
pretty much the
They're
same.
both-
watch Prometheus.
They're both
So-
2-hour-long movies.
I think Prometheus I was not
Yeah,
very
no.
interested in the first time I watched it. I think that was the biggest problem. And again, there was character development that I didn't care about. You know, that didn't feel like
That's
it needed
fair.
to be there. Pretty much everybody got killed off, right? In Prometheus.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's
Except
like,
for
why do they have so much
Saw.
character development when they're just all gonna die?
Because they want to make you feel sad and
That's what
angry.
it is. Well, yes, of course. You want to add weight to each character's death,
I
but
was angry.
no, he's right though. It's not it's like having a meal that needs salt. There's something missing, you know.
I thought that the overall impact of the film was pushed aside from the first 5 minutes where you see the engineer dropping into the water,
Yeah.
which
Right.
is basically creating life. You know, they kind of push that aside and start the story, and like they could have done so much more with that idea. I think the origin of humanity, of all of that, was kind of lost by the end of the film.
Yeah.
Well, in the theatrical cut, the engineer, I think he appears alone on the waterfall.
Yes,
But in the director's cut, there's at least a dozen engineers present, and they witness our main engineer drinking the black goo. It's almost done as a ceremony. And again, these that's why I feel the theatrical cut misses. You know, it misses certain marks that really will have helped, I think, for people to better understand what the movie was about.
I didn't know there was a director's cut available.
I wonder if my DVD has it.
All right, so we're gonna
It's a
so
deleted.
basically.
It's. I'm sorry, forgive me. It's not a director's cut. It's one of the deleted scenes in the
Oh.
disc.
Okay. So
Yeah, there's a
we-
whole thing where an engineer speaks. A whole other things like that.
So we're going to talk about Alien for another few minutes, and then we're going to get into our Razor's Burn questions. We'll talk more about the Razor's Burn. If you're new and you're watching the show tonight, it's questions that we ask amongst each other, and you yourself as the audience can participate in the comments below, and we'll talk about it, about what you've commented, and we'll all discuss it and laugh and be merry about it. But we're gonna wrap up this Alien talk in just a few minutes. Any last words from you guys about the series as a whole? I know we didn't hear much from Jared.
I saw Covenant last night.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good. And like Baron, he kind of glanced over some spoilers. You know, I don't want to give anything away for the folks. It just came out last week. But if you like alien movies, you will like this movie. If you want closure from Prometheus,
That's what I
you
was going to
get
ask.
closure.
You won't
You
get
do.
it, right?
So I'm gonna be vague, and you should watch it.
Okay.
Okay.
I
You
got
do. You get a lot of
something.
closure. Go ahead.
So I want to know what everybody thinks about. So Alien is a horror movie, right?
hmm
Is Aliens a horror movie?
Yeah.
I think it's an action horror. Kind of like I consider Predator a horror, but most people don't, even though that's like a slasher film.
Ray, Baron, what do you think?
Go ahead, Baron. They heard enough from me tonight.
Just a yes or no would be fine, Ray.
The first film, you know, we would have these discussions in the office at Sci-Fi Channel all the time. Is it a horror movie? Is it a science fiction film? Well, sure, it's a science fiction movie because there are robots and it takes place in outer space and there's a big spaceship. But you know what? It's pretty fucking scary for a science fiction movie. You know, you could say the same thing about Frankenstein. Well, you know, Frankenstein's a horror film because there's a monster in it and lightning and a hunchback and all of that. But the story is about a man that uses science and technology from beyond, you know, that time to create life. So it has an element of science fiction to it. It's both. The original film plays like a haunted house movie. I think Alien, and the second film is straight up action horror, but mostly action.
Baron with us?
First one I would agree, like a haunted house, but I think it leans a little more to the sci-fi. Aliens is definitely an action film wrapped up in sci-fi with a nice coating of horror and oozing down the sides and throat punching out to people, and I like it. It's a film and everything else. Part 3 is a clusterfuck. They stepped on the landmine, heard the click, and then went, "Oh shit! How am I going to step off without losing everything?" And too bad. Once you hear the click, it's over.
It nearly sunk the franchise.
Yeah, it nearly did. You literally blew it apart, and I think that movie suffered. But then again, there's a lot of different ways you should have gone on part 3, but they rushed everything. And as for the last one, I have no clue. I don't know. Someone dropped some acid. Someone actually took some black goo and put it in somebody's drink, and they made that movie. And there you go.
Okay. So those of you out there who have watched this or are going to watch or whatever, Aliens, the 1986 movie, is it a horror movie? Do you consider it horror? Let us know in the comments. I want to know.
So, what about Prometheus? Do y'all consider that horror? Because I kind of think I felt like that was more horror-like than I watched
That's straight up sci-fi.
Aliens, and Prometheus. I felt that it was, to me, I felt that it was like a little bit more horror-like than Alien.
You scared? That movie scare you more?
Like that much?
No, it didn't scare me. But
just
like,
that
I
much,
just felt more. Yes, that much.
Prometheus was straight up sci-fi to me.
Yeah, that's hard sci-fi for me too.
I would agree.
And
Yeah, I think I agree too. Broody and dark and atmospheric too. So I mean, it fits in the horror category somewhat, I think.
All right, so here we are. It's right now Eastern Standard Time. It's 10:21 Central. It's 9:21. Today, right now, we're going to get into our razor burn questions. Basically, what they are is questions about the topic that we are talking about tonight, Alien. We're going to throw some questions out there that we're all going to answer, and you, the audience members, can participate, and we'll read your answers out loud, live, so everyone can hear you. We'll even say your name, too. So let's get into it. The razor. There you go. There you go. Can we get that again, that sound bite? Hold on. Where's that soundbite at? Come on.
Razors burn.
There we go. Love it. All right. So we have the Razors Burn brought to you by Baron Craze. And here we go. Baron, take it away. The show is all yours.
Okay, so the first question for tonight is which director, Ridley Scott or James Cameron, had a better influence on their respective Alien movie? Jarrett.
Did you say other than James Cameron?
No, I said which director, Ridley Scott or James Cameron, had a better influence on their respective Alien movie? So, which film do you believe the directors did better for the fans?
Well, I'll go first. I think Aliens is a more enjoyable film, but Alien is a better movie. I like action flicks, so James Cameron's Aliens is badass, but Alien is a much better film.
Okay.
I'll go with Ridley Scott.
Rayzilla.
It's an intriguing question because, it's almost like the chicken or the egg. If not for Cameron's film, the franchise would not have legs. Simply put.
I agree.
So, but then without Scott's film, Cameron wouldn't have made his film. So you have this whole chicken and the egg kind of thing. But I think that if to look at it as a franchise as a whole, Cameron's film gave the whole thing legs.
Okay.
And Cameron's film is how many years after the original? 5?
6, 7.
6, 7. That's a fair amount of time between sequels, 6, 7 years. So it was a bit of a gamble. And I don't think that we would be talking about Prometheus or Alien Covenant if it wasn't for Cameron's film.
Okay. Brian.
Okay. So I think that the better influence would probably be Scott, only because the diehard Alien fans are there because of Scott. Ridley Scott, brought us Alien, and of course he's still bringing us Alien movies. And a lot of the movies reflect back to the first one. You had Aliens, which was a monster of its own movie, and that appeals more to the action genre than it does to the horror fans. Horror fans will always say Aliens was a great action movie, but you'll never hear them say that Aliens was a great horror movie. And Alien 3 kind of throws away everything that James Cameron built and goes back to the old school feeling of humanizing the characters and displaying their mortality. And Resurrection kind of went back and did what James Cameron did with Aliens and made it like this action sci-fi movie, but it was a little more goofier. But the fact is that Ridley Scott Alien movies tend to stay more relevant than Aliens, in my opinion. Aliens itself, it can stand perfectly on its own. But the Alien franchise, I would have to say that Scott was the better influence on their respectful Alien movie.
Okay. Morgan.
Okay. I don't feel like I have very much insight on this because I just watched the movies and I don't really know much about how, the fan base feels about the movies, but I was kind of thinking what Brian was saying. So yeah, Ridley Scott, I guess.
Okay. Razor.
I think Aliens is an obvious James Cameron movie. So I think his influence is felt more on Aliens than Alien is with Ridley Scott, or Ridley Scott with Alien. So, because it feels just like a James Cameron movie, and I know both of them. You look at the movie Alien, and you automatically think Ridley Scott. And you hear Aliens, and you automatically think of James Cameron. But for some reason, I don't know. it just feels like an. I know that his movie got shit on kind of by Alien 3, but at the same time, I don't know. It feels like Cameron's presence was more known to me when I watched Aliens than Alien. That makes sense.
Okay.
It does.
All right. Kind of skip around here for a minute. Which android do you believe was the best? And there's about 5 of them to choose from. So think about it for a minute. All right, let's go with Brian.
All right. So the question was, the aliens have battle humans, predators.
Oh, that was the second one. We're not doing that one yet. Kind of mix it up.
Oh, we're going by Baron's order. Okay.
Dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun.
Go ahead. What was the question?
Which android was the best? And you got about 5 to choose from, Brian. So pick one.
Oh, Bishop. Bishop was the coolest dude. I mean, I love Ash. Ash was fucking terrifying, but Bishop was he was reliable, and he was like so chill, and he was just so happy all the time, even when he got split in half. And it's a shame, you know. But I will say he did make it to Alien 3 for a little while, and then the real Bishop came. Who did he play? Waylon? No,
Yeah.
Did he?
Well,
He was Waylon
at one point, wasn't he? In at least in the
in Alien 3.
he was.
No, Alien versus
Yeah.
Predator. He was Waylon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
And then he was Waylon again in Alien 3, right? A different Waylon, like a generation.
Yeah, that's right. At the end of the movie.
Okay, but yeah, no, Bishop from Aliens is my favorite. He was just a reliable android who, if I ever, needed something to drink with my cookies, I could just, pop open a vein, drink milk. Fucking no, give me that milk.
All right. Rayzilla.
Oh, this is a good question because my favorite android is Ash, and the dichotomy of the character in relation to everyone else on the ship, including the creatures, is something that I always tried to employ in the storytelling when we did movies at Sci-Fi. And sometimes we were successful and sometimes we weren't. I like Ash because, for me, he's the villain of the film, not the creatures. Okay? The creatures have no agenda. Creatures have no agenda. They're being what they are. Just like in Jaws, the shark has no agenda. The shark is simply being a shark. The villain in Jaws is the mayor of the island because he knows the shark is out there and he puts people in harm's way needlessly. Okay?
Still does it.
So
Yeah.
Ash does the same thing. He's the villain of the film. He puts these people in harm's way by allowing the body to come on board the ship against Ripley's wishes. Okay, and that's always been that's a storytelling device that I try to employ whenever possible. When the creature is just being what it is and it has no agenda, sometimes you need a human villain to fill in that role, to play the part of the villain. When you have a creature that does have an agenda, like the Predator, for instance, the Predator is a creature in the film that has a very specific agenda. It's out to hunt. Well, then there's no need for a human villain. But in this case, there is a need for a villain because the creatures are just being what they are. And so Ian Holmes' portrayal is also brilliant. It's still one of the best reveals, I think, in the history of science fiction cinema. And he truly is the villain of the film. So that's the long answer to your question.
All right, Jared.
I'm going to have to go with Brian. I think Bishop is probably the best. I do like Michael Fassbender's David a lot. But I still keep going back to that knife trick that Bishop does with Bill Paxton and Aliens. And I actually use that GIF in my BSR articles as a blind roulette. Am I going to stab myself or am I going to live through it?
Okay.
That scene lives with me, so I'll go with Bishop.
Razor.
Bishop.
Okay. Morgan.
Bishop.
Okay. And I'm going to go with David.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, since David
A wide variety of answers.
David is truly the most evil because he's willing to sacrifice anything in his path
Right.
to prove that he is really almost ideally God, if you would. He is the one of the true creator, no one else, because he's playing Frankenstein all the way out. He, you know, if you guys see the film, you'll definitely see what I'm talking about. How David makes Ash look like a kindergarten teacher. I mean, so David is very vicious.
Yeah, he plays engineer in Prometheus. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. The aliens have battled humans. They battled predators. If you could choose, who would they battle next? And you can have the most outrageous answer possible because Brian, I know, is thinking of it now.
Oh God.
Let's go with Rayzoa.
Ooh, tough one. The very first image that came to mind was zombies, because even if the aliens bled acid on the zombies don't give a fuck. They're just going to keep coming at the aliens anyway. So I think it would be a pretty tough. I'd pay money to see that match.
Okay. Razor.
The Avengers.
Okay.
Nice.
Hulk smash.
Jarrett.
Nice. I'll go with the creatures from hell, from Hellraiser, the Cenobites.
Okay. Morgan.
Because they'd enjoy the pain.
Right.
There you go. At least they would
Right?
dig it.
They would dig being ripped apart and bled on and teeth and shit coming out.
All right, Morgan.
Who are the aliens gonna battle?
I know, Morgan. I got an idea. How about Billy Loomis and Stu Mock or whatever the hell their names are?
They would die so quickly that wouldn't even be a battle. Really, no.
I don't know. They played everybody in Woodsboro. Maybe they could play the aliens too.
Okay. I don't know. I can't think of an answer.
Okay, we'll skip. Move along. Brian.
I mean, there's so many people and so many things.
Harambe.
Like, no.
I was waiting for that.
Oh, why?
But, there's a lot of things like the cast of Friends, Caillou, I don't know, Bebe's Kids.
Harold and Purple Rain.
Obviously,
Ooh,
Yeah,
Baby's
like-
kids.
like who would I want to see the aliens and predators tear apart? You know, there's a lot of things that come.
Kardashians, you know.
Oscar Grouch.
Yeah, the Kardashians,
Oh, man.
the Trumps and the Clintons. Like I don't care. It's a free for all. Why not?
Gosh, you
Convertible
kids want to-
everybody. Fuck it.
I've come up with an answer.
Okay, Morgan.
Since I mentioned the Thing earlier. Let's go with the aliens from the Thing.
There you go.
Ooh.
That's a scary
I'd pay money to
combination.
see that.
Because what if the aliens from the Thing win and they take the shape of the xenomorphs? Then you got like a fucking army of xenomorphs.
Yeah, but they couldn't have the xenomorph teeth, right? Because they're like metal. Right?
True.
They have fillings.
Interesting.
They would just have to use their alien teeth.
All right. The last question for me is: what is the most memorable scene in the entire Aliens franchise? It can be a kill, it could be a rescue, it could be whatever it wants to be. Take a moment to think about it. The most memorable scene.
Get away from her, you bitch.
Okay, thanks for jumping in. We got your answer, Razor.
There it is. Yep.
All right. Let's go with I don't know. Let's go with Brian.
the very first encounter with the birth of the baby alien from John Hurt. I think that was the most memorable and most iconic scene in the entire series, because not only was it memorable for the audience, but it was memorable for the cast because they didn't know what was going to happen. They just didn't expect the prop to come out of John Hurt like that and spray everyone with blood, especially Veronica Cartwright. Her reaction in the movie is genuine. They didn't tell her about it, and then they shot her with blood, and the alien. And it's definitely the most iconic scene in the entire series.
Okay, Jared.
I agree with Brian, but I want to add an asterisk to it. It was when he redid that scene in Spaceballs.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my
Not
honey.
again.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey.
Ray Zilla.
Yeah, I'm with Brian on this one. You know, the chest burster scene is still, really part of the whole of pop culture. It's been satirized not only by Mel Brooks, but in Family Guy and other shows. So, I mean, it has really transcended it's more than just a scene from a film. It's really kind of entered the zeitgeist of American pop culture. So, you know, it's got to be the chest burster scene.
Yeah.
Morgan.
Yeah, that one, and also I think the one where the thing jumps on Kane in the beginning too.
Yeah.
Also, this is not most memorable, probably nowhere near the most memorable, but I just can't stop thinking about when Holloway, is that his name? Logan Marshall Green's character dies in Prometheus. I just can't stop thinking about that. But anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
Razor's answer is a good answer. It's just a shame that we, the audience, were deprived of the knowledge about Ripley's own daughter during that confrontation when Ripley and the Queen are confronting one another. Unfortunately, in the theatrical cut, the audience has no clue that Ripley had a daughter and that he lost all of that backstory is lost. So when you watch the director's cut and you know all of this, that scene has so much weight going on, where there's no dialogue between Ripley or the creature either. You know, it's just all weight. You know. I'm sorry. Say again.
No, I just think I thought it was badass because she's standing up to the Queen. And they have a pretty awesome fight. So I don't know.
But when
the
you look at
the scene's the obvious answer. If you're talking about, that's the most iconic scene I think in Alien in all of the movies. That's the most obvious answer. No offense to everybody, but I love that scene every time I watch Aliens and Sigourney Weaver delivers that line. It's like goosebumps all over my body. It feels so good. So
and what else?
When Marion asked, I was like, I had to say it right away because that's like when I think of the series, the chest burster, sure, but also it's that line. Those two, like for me, are hand in hand. And then there's also Bill Paxton trying to get out of the chicken shit unit. I love that. And game over, man. You know what's funny? I didn't notice in Aliens that line where he's saying it game over is right before Newt says mostly they come out at night, mostly, which is another thing that always stuck with me after seeing Aliens. Mostly they come out at night, mostly.
But you look at the body language of what's going on when Ripley and the Queen are confronting one another. You have two parents, basically, protecting their children. The Queen is surrounded by her eggs. Ripley has Newt behind her, and what does Ripley do with the flamethrower? She points it at one of the eggs, and then she makes eye contact with the Queen in a threatening gesture. So here you have two women standing off one another, protecting their young. It's really good shit, and it's just a damn shame.
Good standoff.
Yeah, it's really good shit, and you don't see that level of female character development. You just don't kind of see that anymore. It's a shame. It's a shame that audiences got deprived of that little tidbit of information about Ripley having a daughter and losing a daughter, because it changes the.
Okay.
In the middle of the night. Anything for Paul Reiser is gold.
What's that?
I said anything with Paul Reiser's gold.
He
All
didn't
right,
mad about you.
that finishes out the questions for me.
I don't know what happened to Uncle Ray Zilla.
Oh well.
But, hello.
He is frozen in space right now.
Oh, he is frozen in space.
Oh, he's,
but
he's in his cryo tube, you know, and
Oh,
here
here
we
it
go.
comes.
Here we
I
go.
got kicked
your
off
cryo
there.
He's
tube
back.
didn't malfunction.
All right.
Pretty good.
Ray, take it away. You got your
Xenomorphs got me.
question.
The xenomorphs got me, so that's what happened. Sorry about that, gang.
You got your question, Ray. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Your question. God
My
damn it.
question? Oh, we're up to my portion here with the
Yes.
the question. Is that what's going on?
I don't
Okay.
even
Well,
know where you're
all
at.
right, kids. All right, kids. It's that time again to play Shag, Marry, or Kill, the Alien Edition. The Alien Edition of Shag, Marry, or Kill. We're going to talk about which three of these iconic female characters we would enjoy shagging, marrying, or killing. Now, and for Morgan, dear, I have a special lineup for you because we know that you don't dip your toe in the lady pond. So,
Oh my God.
not that there's anything wrong with it, by the way. Okay, shag, marry, or kill, gentlemen. Ellen Ripley, Sarah Connor, Alice from Resident Evil. And we're going to start with you, Baron, because you asked the questions before, and we really don't get an opportunity to hear the inner workings of your mind.
Yeah, we do.
Well, yes, but you know, when these questions come up, you know, the Baron,
of the show, we know
the Baron gets to hide behind and be the Inquisitor. But now the tables have turned, and Baron, tell me,
The Inquisitive.
Ellen Ripley, Sarah Connor, or Alice from the Resident Evil franchise? Shag, marry, or kill?
Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. Who would I kill? Who would I marry? And who would I fuck? Because I don't use the term shag. I'm sorry, folks. I just don't do that. It ain't my style. I just fuck. It's just a good word. I love the word. It's my second favorite word. I won't tell you what the first is, but it's a nice curse. It's basically, I'll see you next Tuesday. Anyway, moving right along. I would definitely slit the throat of Alice of Resident Evil. I would perform an autopsy while she's alive, stem to stern. You know, just make it really nice, and then make one of those beasts just climb inside of her and just have fun licking up her insides like they just never had such a jolly good time. Okay, moving right along. As for Marion, let's face it, I would go with Ripley because, let's face it, you know, she's taking on the aliens, and I think we'd be a nice team there, you know, just killing shit left and right. And with Sarah, she complains a lot about a lot of shit. She's always got a problem. Usually, maybe gets those nice visits at the mental hospital. So, you know, she could maybe slip me some Haldol or something on the side. But yeah, I'd probably just fuck her. And then she would say, hey, this guy named Baron came in and fucked me. And they just leave her locked up for a little bit longer going, shit, some guy named Baron came in and fucked you? Hey, Sarah, you're never getting the fuck out now. So those are my choices. How's that?
Spectacular.
Good for you?
Spectacular.
Oh, you're quite
Spectacular. Jared, my friend, shag, marry, or kill. Ellen Ripley, Sarah Connor, Alice from the Resident Evil franchise.
Oh my goodness. I would probably kill Sarah Connor just for the reasons that Baron displayed, that she's crazy. I would probably have Mila Jovovich, a.k.a. Alice, for extracurricular activities.
There you go. Hey, now.
Ellen Ripley.
You would marry Ripley?
Yeah. And keep Alice around for extracurricular activities.
And there you have it. Razor. Shag, marry, kill.
I would kill Ripley.
What?
Wow, that came out fast.
Yeah, I do not like Sigourney Weaver. I don't like her face almost at all. I know I'm probably in the minority on that, but she looks like He looks like what Meryl Streep's corpse would look like if it had to smile and hand out wine at a party or something. I don't know.
Whoa,
I've never liked Sigourney Weaver at all. I tolerate her in these movies, but I don't like her, so I would blast her. And you know what's funny is if you take her face off, she still looks the same because she looks like a fucking skeleton. Anyway,
Dead girls don't say no.
anyway, I would fuck the shit out of Sarah Connor because she's pretty crazy, but I think Linda Hamilton is really good looking. And the funny thing is all the women have really tiny boobs. So I'd have to go with Mila Jovovich to marry because I get to look at those long eraser nipples all the time. So I think she's the best looking of the three. So you guys have seen Resident Evil. It shows her nipples. They're like this thick and that's that long. So I'm going based on nipple size. So
nice. Those are the answers right there, folks.
Sensational.
That is the plot.
And so to you,
nipples. Oh,
and so to you, Brian.
Hashtag.
Razor, thank you for that.
Shit.
Another David Lynch movie, Eraser Nipples.
There you go.
All right.
All right, Mr. Enright.
So here's
Jag,
the thing.
marry or kill.
So here's the thing. I would marry Ellen Ripley. She seems to be the very nurturing type of woman. Also, who knows how to stand up for her own. I think that if we have a child together, she would do one hell of a job protecting it, unless she was sleeping in a hyper tube, and then of course an alien got on a ship and fucked up the rest of the franchise. I think that I would have to bang Sarah Connor just to hear her come back to me in like 13 years and say, there's someone hunting our son and we need to save him, because that would be one fucking hell of a trip. It's just like I would push my son off the motorcycle and I would get on back of the motorcycle and I'd be like, let's go, T-100, Arnold Schwarzenegger. We would go driving our motorcycle off into the sunset as I leave my wife and my bastard child behind. And then I would definitely have to, I wouldn't even kill Alice. I think I would, what's that famous Edgar Allan Poe, story where he gets a guy, or someone gets a guy really drunk and then he builds a
cask
wall
of Amontillado.
Yeah, well, I would do that to Alice. I would just
wall them up,
get her really drunk, and then build a wall and keep her inside of that wall. So she sits there and starves and dehydrates to death, thinking about what she did.
Cask of Amontillado.
Yes.
She ruined.
That was a post.
That was very dark, Brian. Thank you. Very dark.
Very well.
Very Olympian.
Yes. At least I didn't say I was going to slit her throat. I was just going to let her think about what she did as she starved to death.
Hey, she got a paycheck, and her husband made the movie.
Yeah, they both got a paycheck. They both burn in hell.
Sure. Now, before we get to Morgan's version of Shag, Marry, or Kill, let me just make it plain right now that I would kill Sarah Connor. Only because despite the access to great pharmaceuticals, I couldn't deal with batshit crazy. I have a long fuse, but man, I can't do crazy. I can't do paranoid. I can't do paranoid on the run
But you could
crazy.
lick her face and she wouldn't move.
Yeah, but you know what? Maybe 20 years ago I could have, but not now. Fuck that. So I kill Sarah Connor.
Twin sister.
Sigourney Weaver's a little tall for me, but I would marry Sigourney Weaver only because she seems like she would really be good around the house.
And plus, if she died, she wouldn't change.
And so that would mean that I would basically foul the integrity of Alice from the Resident Evil films. And only be and for the reasons that Razor cited, really the whole the whole areola nipple thing is very very big deal with me. So I would have to go that route.
The screensaver on my computer.
Is it? Is it now, Morgan, my dear?
No.
We have a special version of shag, marry, or kill for you.
Let's hear it.
Okay, your choices are Bishop, Hicks, or Whalen.
Oh god.
Shag, marry, or kill.
You'd be set for life if you married Waylon.
What was the
Yep, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but
Wait.
he's
Bishop's a machine, so he can go all night long.
And if you're thirsty,
We have attachments for you.
bust open the vein, drink from his neck. Throw all the major arteries on.
Do
We made the decision for you, Morgan.
I know we sprung this one. We didn't give you time to think about it. So while you're thinking about it, let me remind the people at home: we're playing shag, marry, or kill, and the choices are Whalen, Bishop, or Hicks. Shag, marry, and kill.
um
Well, who's the marrying?
okay.
Type? Who's the marrying
jeez.
type out of the three? Start easy.
Wait a minute. So, okay, Waylon. Did they show Waylon in Aliens?
No.
Seen Aliens? Okay, so yeah,
Bishop,
the only
Whalen, and
Waylon.
Prometheus.
Yeah, that's yeah. Okay, wait.
He was
So
little shit.
But they also
Oh.
show Whalen in Covenant, so you can see what he looked like when he was younger when you see Covenant. Slight spoiler.
oh jeez. Okay, well.
Thanks a lot. I can't see the movie now.
Hint, hint, it's Guy Ritchie. Yep.
You know
Son
what?
of a bitch.
Marrying, like y'all said, marrying Wayland would be a good choice, but I feel like marrying Bishop would be a good choice also because I mean, he's a robot.
And you could
Like-
He's like a kitchenette,
Like-
man.
Stability,
Like,
right?
do anything,
He's like a
and
kid
be
in
like
it.
very smart and very helpful and like I don't
He's
know.
got a dynamite smile.
That's a tough.
No. He's obedient, right? Good around the house,
Exactly. So that's
reliable,
a tough
You could unplug his nipple and get some milk.
option between
good
them.
security.
I guess I'd flip a coin between them, and whoever like landed Bishop was heads and Wayland was tails, and whichever one I land on, I'm gonna marry, and whichever one I don't, I'm gonna kill. And then, that leaves Hicks with the other option, I guess.
So you would so what 'cause everyone's sitting on the edge of their seats. So you would bang the shit out of Hicks.
I
Who wouldn't? Come
suppose. Oh, Lord.
Yes.
Yep. That's
So-
what
so
happens.
that's
Makes Morgan blush, guys.
So
What?
we're making Ray blush, I think. So
Okay.
the breakdown is what then, Morgan? Break it on down
I'm
for
gonna
us.
flip a coin for Bishop and Wayland, and whichever one it lands on. Like, okay, this is what I said. Bishop will be heads, Wayland will be tails. Whichever one it lands on, I'm gonna marry. Whichever one it doesn't land on, I'm gonna kill them. So,
You got a 50-50 shot.
yep,
All right.
that's how that's happening.
All right.
That's how my decisions
Well,
are made because I'm too indecisive for things.
all right. Well, Brian, that's our horror syndicate.
And
Shag. What?
Wait, hear
okay,
more.
this
Wait.
doesn't. Well, no, it just doesn't go with Rayzilla's questions, but Baron's question of the aliens battling. Who would you have the aliens battle next? Has gotten some attention on our Twitter, and one person at France_T85 replied a picture of the Xenomorph fighting Darth Vader. So I guess he wants.
I saw that. That was cool.
And then
Very nice.
another person at W Mass Liberty, Amanda Marie, said Ridley Scott because he owes me $12 with #Alien Covenant. So I'm guessing that she was not a fan of Alien Covenant.
Snap!
Ooh, some shade.
Where's that $12, Ridley?
Hey, I got some
Um,
coupons for $7.50 off a ticket. If anybody, I got 4 of them. So,
Dang.
yeah. They
so
Mail me
I'm
one.
probably not going to go see the movie.
all right, so as we wrap up this episode, this Alien episode, I do have something I want to ask you guys personally. Director District 13 or was it
District 9.
District 9.
Neil Blomkamp,
Neil Blomkamp.
Neil Blomkamp has been working on Aliens 2.5, which is going to be the direct sequel to Aliens. In case and those who are watching the show who didn't know anything about it, there's artwork for it with Ripley, Hicks still alive, and an older Newt. Do you think? And I'm asking you. I'm asking you guys here at the Syndicate, as well as audience at home. Do you think it's time for Ridley Scott to step aside so Neil Blomkamp can now make his Aliens 2.5?
is he the problem?
Yes.
I'm going to say I don't care.
Because he has 2 more Alien
Dude.
movies coming out, 2 more Alien prequels,
Yeah.
and it's
I don't see
causing.
why it matters that why he can't make the movie just make the movie. I don't think it would affect the other 2 Alien movies that Ridley Scott is going to make. I don't think. I mean, people have this really poor, or well, not people, but studios seem to have this really poor idea that nobody can tell the difference. But like with Star Wars, for instance,
Bingo.
there were people, when Rogue One came out, that they were worried that nobody would get that Rogue, and it did happen, where Rogue One takes place between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. People were wondering where Rey was from Episode 7, and so that's probably the problem. And just like with the DC universe on TV, they didn't want to bring Superman in because they didn't want to have 2 Superman and confuse people. That's why they're not making it. I'm pretty certain, because they don't want to have like that movie come out and be, well, how does this follow Alien Covenant? And old ass Ellen Ripley's back, and she looks like a fucking skeleton. But like, plus, man, it's you know what? I think Alien fans just need to. No offense to anybody who gets offended by this, you need to just get over it. Alien 3 happened. It's over. Alien 2, if they made a sequel to Aliens, if they made a sequel to that, I think it's way past time. I don't think they need to do it.
I think, Ray, you hit the nail on the head. It is a time-honored mistake by studios that they make this mistake over and over and over again. They don't give the audience enough credit, and they think, oh, you're going to confuse. We can't have 2 we can't have 2 factions of the same franchise out at the same time, that people won't get it.
Star Wars is proving you can do it.
You know what? I mean, it could work. It could be damaging. It could work. Sometimes it happens with rock bands. Sometimes an ex-member of a rock band will take the band's name. There was a There was a phony version. There was a phony version of Deep Purple going around for a short period of time because it was the original lead singer of Deep Purple, and he started using the name, and there were 2 Deep Purples out on the road, and people were confused by that, and one sued the other. So this is a time-honored. We had this happen at Sci-Fi Channel when Ang Lee's Hulk film came out. We got a letter. We got a letter and a phone call from Universal Studios telling us to pull the Lou Ferrigno series from the air, beginning the weekend that Ang Lee's Hulk film was to come out. And we said, why? If anything, we're going to build a marathon. We're going to march people up to the release of the film. We're going to build a whole weekend around it. And they said, no, we don't want people to be confused. I don't think that anyone's going to be able to, be confused over Lou Ferrigno or a CG Hulk. But yes, this is a time-honored mistake. They do it constantly for decades. Did we freeze?
No.
Anyone else want to answer that question? Do you think that's
what the hell happened?
Side and Neil Blomkamp to make Aliens 2.5?
I think Neil Blomkamp would make a fantastic Aliens movie. I will say that. I'm not sure if this is the way they should ever go. But I think he is. there's Chappie, there's District 9, and
Chappie and Elysium.
Oh, God,
Elysium. His
Chappie.
movies are beautiful movies, stunning movies. Their stories are fantastic. I think if Ridley Scott was going to hand the keys to somebody, that would be the guy to hand it to, though. I would say that.
District
I
9 was my favorite film that year.
Anyone else?
The only thing I would
Yeah.
say is I've seen the artwork, and I do agree it is very beautiful and everything. But I think it comes down to who does the studio have more maybe confidence in or faith. They've had this option to greenlight the other project. They just never greenlighted it. So they keep backing Ridley. Now, just to let people know, the film's only made about $43 million domestically, which is really way off. It was made for about 97, maybe $111 million depending. But internationally, the film is eating up everywhere. It's just generating money. So I think the studios are still going to back Scott. I mean, look at his resume and everything else. Yes, the other guy's got a good one too, but they have not greenlighted it while they were waiting for Ridley. So,
Isn't Scott an Oscar winner?
yeah, I think for Gladiator.
Motherfucker's going to be 86.
So that's gonna carry a lot of weight too.
So
He may die before his movies even see the light of day. I mean, Deadpool is going to be 80 years old.
yeah,
Yeah, amazing. Amazing that he can still make these.
I didn't realize he was that old.
And these are complex films to make. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
He may not see the end of the line with these movies. Brian, what do you think, man? I know you probably would rather see the Alien 2.5 than the Ridley Scott.
Yeah, I think that we get it. I think it should have stopped with Prometheus. I did like Alien Covenant. Don't get me wrong. I did love it. I'm not ready for another 2 movies where it's about David. I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm just not ready for it.
He's doing what George Lucas did with Star Wars. He's
Exactly
doing
what
the thing when
that's
everybody
correct.
else, every fan that I know growing up watching Star Wars wanted to see the story move forward. Where I did want to see what happened, how Darth Vader came to be. I still wanted to see what happened with Luke and Leia and Han after Return of the Jedi. Instead, I had to wait 30 fucking years to get a substandard version. The Force Awakens is not as good as what it could have been.
Yeah.
Where, like, I would rather personally see them wipe the slate clean with Alien 3 and Resurrection, and maybe not even have Ripley in the story, but move it forward rather than go backwards and telling the story trying to catch up to the first movie. I think that's stupid. I don't like that that this has happened now with 2 great franchises. Thanks a lot, George Lucas. Motherfucker.
All right. So anyone else have any answers to this? Because we got to wrap up.
Nope.
Okay. All right, Morgan. We got something going on in the horror convention. What do we have?
Yep, there's one convention this weekend, and it is the Famous Monsters Convention in Dallas, Texas.
Wowee.
And it is also the Silver Scream Film and Comic Convention or Fest. Like that is combined with this, so those things are happening at the same location at the same time. It's a joint event. And as for guests, there aren't that many horror guests, but there are a few good ones, such as Mark Patton from Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
He's a scream queen.
Let's see.
Hey.
Hey.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
He said it himself.
Yeah.
And Sean S. Cunningham, who's the writer and creator of Friday the 13th
Fuck
Yeah.
that dude.
franchise.
Hell,
It's heard.
he's kind of an ass, I hear.
Well, if you live in Dallas, you can go meet him and find out for yourself.
Boom.
All right. Thank you very much, Morgan. And last but not least, Razor. We have a T-shirt drive going on right now. Tell us about it.
There's 4 days left. It's the Horror Syndicate T-shirt, the second version of the T-shirt. If you want to support the Syndicate, the T-shirt's $15. It's booster.com/the Horror Syndicate 2. And there's 3 days left or 4 days left. It's the 28th is the last day. So buy our T-shirt. Support. The money goes right back into the website, just if anybody's wondering. So it's a kind of a good cause. It keeps me from having to pay for the website. Kind of. I still have to pay for it, but not as much. So, yeah. And you can hear my kid.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Sorry about the 2-week hiatus, but we are back, and we hope you enjoyed our Alien episode. We had a blast talking about Aliens, one of our favorite franchises. But tune in for next week, where we have lots of more content for you, and and for you to get involved with as well. So check us out at thehorrorsyndicate.com. Check out our other sites, VHS at Midnight and Rage of Razor. My name is Brian Enright. You can follow me on Facebook at Brian Enright or on Twitter at The Horror Jew. Baron, where can we find you?
Well, usually at cemeteries and morgues, but also you can stalk me on Twitter under Baron_Craze, also on Facebook under Baron Craze, and of course the Baron Script is also found on Facebook, and we'll be back on Friday night at 6:30.
All right. Thank you very much, Baron. All right. Up next, we have Jared.
Glad we could be back after such a long time away. You guys can follow me on Facebook at Jared Letourneau or on Twitter at zombie_survivor.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jared. Up next, Morgan.
You can follow me on Twitter at Morgan_Jewel_S.
Thank you, Morgan. Up next, Uncle Rayzilla.
Well, Brian, you could find me most Tuesday nights leading an IBS Anonymous meeting at St. Mickey's Night of Columbus here in Lodi, New Jersey. Shout out to a couple of friends, Lou Fazio and Jason Corfine. Don't forget the white fellas. But otherwise, you can find me on Twitter at RayzillaNJ. Back to you, Brian.
All right. Thank you very much, Uncle Rayzilla. And last but not least, our president and pure Razor.
Yeah. If you want to follow me, it's Razor_33. If you don't, I don't care. But I do want you to buy the Horror Syndicate T-shirt to support the website, support the team. Everybody could wear a shirt, and it's letting your horror flag fly. But that's it.
We're all doing this for free, kids.
Yeah, nobody's getting paid. I'm a tight ass.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, everybody. Have a great, safe night. Game over, man. Game over.
Peace.